you know? When you wake up and try to focus on your day, but suddenly he pops into your head again. You don't even know why. He doesn't even talk to you anymore. Sometimes he disappeared a long time ago, and yet he's still there, like he's living in a corner of your mind. Feels like there's something more, something you just can't explain, like an invisible connection that still pulses even without messages, calls, or presence. And then comes that thought, is this just nostalgia? Or does he feel it too? Is the universe trying to show me something? And most of all, why can't I just move on? Look, if you're going through this, take a deep breath. You're not crazy. There's an explanation for this, and there's a way to shift the game. What you're feeling could be a mix of energetic connection, emotional pattern, and maybe even unconscious manifestation. And the most important thing now is to understand what all of this really means and how to transform that feeling into clarity and strength for you. Today we're going to talk about all of this based on what Carl Jung says about energy, focus, and vibration, but in a simple, direct way that truly helps you. No complicated talk. It's time to understand what that guy in your mind is really trying to show you. And more importantly, what does it say about you? If you already feel like this video is meant for you, leave a like and subscribe. That really helps me keep creating this kind of content. Now let's dive in. The reality of what you feel. Because there are things we feel that we can't explain. You try to keep your mind busy, distract yourself, go out, talk to other people, but he comes back. And no matter how much time has passed, or how many times you've tried to forget him, the feeling is the same, as if there's an invisible thread pulling your thoughts toward him. But look, this isn't just nostalgia, and it doesn't necessarily mean he's the love of your life. What's really happening here is a matter of focus. Where you place your attention, you place your energy. And that, according to Carl Jung, is the foundation of how we create our reality. So if you're thinking about him all the time, even if he's not around, it's like you're feeding a connection to his energy, not out of malice, but out of habit, emotion, intensity. And that energy is not neutral. It vibrates, it creates, it attracts. Sometimes you think so much about someone that you even feel like he's thinking about you too, even when there's no sign at all. And that can be true, because when two people share intense moments, there's an energy exchange that might continue in silence. But here's an important point. Is that thought a true connection or just a reflection of an inner emptiness you haven't filled yet? Many people confuse emotional attachment with intuition. They think feeling intensely is a sign of destiny, of something deep. But that's not always the case. Sometimes it's just your mind looking for familiarity, comfort, a repeat of what it already knows, even if it once hurt. That's why it's so important to understand what exactly is keeping you tied to that thought. Because without that clarity, you can stay trapped in a cycle that doesn't take you anywhere, just keeps you spinning in the same emotional place. Before we continue, imagine this. What if you could send just one message capable of awakening an irresistible desire in him? One that makes him unable to stop thinking about you all day. In my exclusive ebook, 90 Magnetic Messages, you'll discover how to create real attraction and a deep connection without relying on those exhausting little games that only push him away. Want to transform your conversations and make him think about you non-stop? Then click the link in the comments and start now. Is it really about him or about what he represents? Sometimes what hurts isn't losing the person, it's losing the feeling you had when you were with them. And at that point, your mind tries to relive it as if you could recreate the past through the power of thought. But the past doesn't return, and the energy you keep investing in someone who's already walked away again and again is the same energy you should be investing in yourself. There's something almost no one says, but it changes everything. Thinking about someone all the time is not necessarily a sign of a spiritual connection. It could just be your mind trying to repeat what it already knows. Because the brain loves the familiar, even if the familiar is a little painful. It prefers to repeat what is known rather than face the emptiness of the unknown. And here's the part that traps many people. Are you trying to manifest this man back into your life, Or are you just reliving an emotional cycle that never ended properly? There's a huge difference between manifesting and holding on. Manifesting is about lightness, conscious intention, and trust. But reliving a cycle means being stuck in an emotional loop where nostalgia becomes lack and desire turns into attachment. Carl Jung says that our thoughts trigger our emotions, and those emotions create a chemistry in the body that we become addicted to. That means you might be, without realizing it, addicted to the sensation that man caused in you. Not to him, but to the emotional chemistry your mind associated with him, and that's why, even if he's gone, your body craves that feeling again. That's why the thoughts persist, because they activate an emotion your body learned to desire. The best way to break that cycle is to ask yourself honestly, what do I feel when I think about him? If the answer is distress, anxiety, fear of losing, or emptiness, then that's not manifestation, that's repetition. It's your body trying to relive something that's already over, simply because it doesn't yet know how to feel safe in something new. But when you start to feel peace just by imagining something healthy, light, and new, then you're truly beginning to manifest, because you stop repeating what once hurt and start creating what you truly want to experience. It all begins with emotional clarity, and clarity only comes when you truly choose to listen to yourself. The real law of attraction, when we talk about the law of attraction, many people imagine it's just about thinking positively, making some requests to the universe and waiting. But the truth is, attraction happens all the time, not with what you want, but with what you vibrate. And that's the secret, because it's useless to want a light-hearted love if deep down you're still vibrating with the anxiety of wanting to be chosen. There's no point in asking for a true relationship if you're vibrating with the insecurity of not feeling enough. The law of attraction is not about forcing reality to happen as you wish. It's about aligning yourself with what you want to experience. And to align means to become the person who would already be ready to live that love. Carl Jung talks about this a lot. You don't attract what you want, you attract what you are. That means you have to start feeling now what you want to live in the future. And that takes presence and awareness and decision. Want to know something powerful? Try imagining a relationship where you feel completely safe, respected, and free to be yourself. Imagine that this relationship already exists. You don't need to give it a name or a face, just feel it. Allow your body to get used to this new emotional frequency, because your body needs to learn how to feel it before it sees it. And when you start vibrating with that new energy of worthiness, lightness, and true love, you become magnetic. It's as if you become a natural magnet for everything that matches this new version of you. And then either he aligns with that frequency, or he makes room for someone new who's more aligned with who you really are. The truth is, many times what we miss is not the person, but the way we wanted to be loved by them. But once you understand that, you stop searching in others and start creating within yourself. And when you function from a place of awareness, presence, and clarity, the law of attraction simply responds. Not because you asked for it, but because you became it. He thinks about you too. Here's where many people wonder, but does he think about me too? And look, that question is so human, so real. Because when we feel a strong connection, even in silence, it seems like there's something there, as if the other person feels it too. And sometimes it's true. Energy is a two-way street, and when two hearts once vibrated intensely together, something can keep echoing for a while, even without direct contact. Sometimes it shows up in strange ways. You dream of him out of nowhere, or hear a song that seems to speak directly about the two of you, or you feel a sudden presence as if he were near even though he's far. These signs can be real, but they can also be your energy searching for confirmation of something unresolved. The big question is, what do you do with it? Because knowing whether he's thinking of you doesn't change your current reality. It doesn't change the fact that he's not present, not messaging, not showing up. So instead of trying to decode the invisible, the most powerful thing you can do is change the question. Instead of, is he thinking of me? Try, how do I feel when I think of him? Does it uplift me or drain me? Because the universe doesn't respond to what you hope for. It responds to what you vibrate. And when you stop chasing signs and start focusing on clarity, everything shifts. If it's meant to be, it will unfold effortlessly. If it's not, it will move away from your path. What is truly yours never demands that you lose yourself trying to understand someone. Real intuition feels light, not desperate. Real connection brings peace, not anxiety. When you feel a constant pressure to know, to understand, to confirm, you're probably more in fear than in intuition. What to do with this feeling? Okay, so you've realized that constantly thinking of him may have more to do with you than with him. Now what? What do you do with that feeling that won't leave? Understanding it logically isn't enough. The heart doesn't have an off switch, but it does have direction. And when you choose where to send that energy, everything begins to change. That feeling you have, whether it's nostalgia, pain, confusion, or even desire, is energy in motion. And energy, when not welcomed, becomes a block. But when you embrace and transform it, it becomes strength. So the first thing you can do is stop fighting what you feel. Feeling is not weakness, it's raw material. How you handle it determines whether it traps you or sets you free. A simple but powerful practice is writing. Take a piece of paper and write everything you'd want to say to him. Uncensored, unfiltered. Not to send, but to release. That removes weight from the body and gives voice to what was stuck inside. Sometimes we need to hear our own words to understand what we truly feel. Another thing that really helps is shifting your focus. Instead of spending energy trying to understand him, ask yourself, what do I need right now? What am I lacking? What am I projecting onto this absence? And that's when you start doing the one thing that changes everything, returning to yourself, taking care of your energy, your space, your glow, listening to yourself again, seeing yourself, loving yourself. Because the more you strengthen yourself, the less you need someone else to feel complete. There's also a visualization technique that helps a lot. Before going to sleep, imagine yourself living an amazing chapter of your life. High self-love, easy laughter, light people around you. Create that scene as if it's already happening. This reprograms your vibration effortlessly, because when you feel good, you stop seeking those who don't make you feel good. The feeling doesn't disappear overnight, but when you change the path it flows through, it stops hurting and starts guiding you towards something greater than this chapter that might already be over. Also remember, it's okay to have hard days. It's not about forcing positivity. It's about honoring what you feel while choosing not to stay stuck there. Allow yourself to feel, but don't allow yourself to live from that place all the time. The art of true seduction. When you start reconnecting with yourself, something magical happens. Your energy shifts. And without even trying, you become more attractive. Not in a forced way, not because you're trying to seduce, but because you're vibrating confidence, presence, truth. And that's what truly attracts a real man. Seduction has nothing to do with chasing, overexposing, or trying to prove your worth. True seduction happens in the invisible. It's that woman who walks into a room and says nothing, and everyone feels it. Because she's not trying to be noticed. She already knows who she is. Want some simple advice? First, protect your energy above all else. Nothing is more beautiful than a woman who feels good about herself. When you radiate inner confidence, you automatically become magnetic. Second, value, silence, and mystery. Mystery is attractive. When you say everything, show everything, chase after him, you give away your power. But when you stay centered, without anxiety, you leave the other person curious, interested, engaged. And lastly, show presence, not lack. Your presence is your introduction. If you show up with lightness, good humor, and no rush, that's irresistible. Because most people show up begging for validation, but you don't need that. And if you want to know whether he truly cares about you, watch his actions. A man who's interested will show it. He won't confuse you, disappear, or play games. He'll come closer. He'll want to be near you. Real love doesn't need effort, it fits. And if it doesn't fit, it's because something better is coming. When you stop hiding behind the fear of losing, you finally start being seen for real. And then there's no effort, just magnetism. Because authenticity is always more attractive than any strategy. It's your choice. In the end, everything comes down to a choice. Your choice. Because when you stop chasing answers in someone else and start truly listening to yourself, you realize what was really missing was never him. It was you. For you. It was your gaze turning inward. It was your self-love waiting to be awakened again. And there's nothing stronger, more seductive or magnetic than a woman who chooses herself, who knows what she feels but doesn't drown in it, who acknowledges the connection but doesn't lose herself in it, who can love deeply but never stops loving herself first. That woman doesn't beg for attention, she attracts it. She doesn't wait to be chosen, she chooses. She doesn't wait to be noticed, she shines. When you choose yourself, everything starts to align. People who aren't on your frequency naturally move out of your way. Situations that once felt heavy start to lose their grip. And slowly, the weight of the past gets lighter, because now something stronger is guiding you, your presence, your awareness, your decision to live something new. And you don't need external guarantees to believe the right love will come. You just need to choose not to abandon yourself. Every time you respect your feelings, embrace yourself in difficult moments, and choose to move forward with lightness, you make room for what's real. And if the man still lingering in your thoughts is part of your path, he'll return. But not because you waited, because you moved forward with so much truth that the universe aligned the meeting. And if it's not him, it'll be someone who truly sees you, someone in the same rhythm, same energy, same level of devotion that you deserve. In the end, it's not about him, it's about you. When you choose yourself, everything changes. When you honor yourself, everything transforms. When you decide you deserve real light and deep love, the universe moves to give it to you. Because the magic isn't in controlling others, it's in being so whole within yourself that only what aligns with that wholeness can come close. And that is true freedom. Not needing anyone to be happy, but being open to sharing that happiness with someone who truly deserves it.